Let's start with a scenario. After an enlightening session with your therapist, you realize that your Warzone addiction has taken a toll on your mental health. Now, determined to make a change, you decided to sell your PC online. Also, being crypto bro, you thought you'd list USDT as a payment option. Let's say you put it on eBay, you share the link on social media, and then you wait. Sure enough, a stranger reaches out, negotiates a bit, and agrees to pay you in crypto. Naturally, you send them your public address, and then you wait some more. At that moment, this individual gains access to your entire crypto banking history. They can see every single transaction ever linked to that wallet. For instance, who paid you, how much they paid you, when, and from which exact addresses. They can identify associated wallets, including mixers, P2P providers, or even your personal accounts. In short, they get a surprisingly detailed picture of your income, your financial relationships, and spending habits. Considering that only around 32% of US respondents would be willing to share their salary with a close friend, why are we so quick to expose our full financial history to a complete stranger just because they're, buying our PC? Welcome to the Symbiosis YouTube channel. I'm Bradley, your host, and today we'll be talking about public keys, specifically just how public they really are. Let's say someone you know gets hold of your crypto public address. Maybe you've shared it with them to receive payment, like in our example in the intro. Maybe they saw it on a screenshot somewhere, or maybe they just stumbled upon it online. No big deal, right? It's just a public key. It's not like they have your private key too. Well, here's where things start to unravel a bit. The first thing that they can do is punch in your address to a blockchain explorer. Etherscan, Blockchain, take your pick. Instantly, they get a full transaction history. Now they know every incoming and outgoing payment. They know which tokens you hold, who you transacted with previously, perhaps how much money has flowed through your account. And at this point, they're already in the know, I guess, about whether you're sitting on a fat stack of crypto or if you're barely scraping by. But they're not stopping there. It's just sort of theories at this stage. Just because they have your one crypto address doesn't mean they have the full picture. But with a little bit of blockchain analysis, they can start connecting the dots very quickly. Let's say that you made a transaction that pulled your funds from multiple addresses. Maybe you were consolidating your Bitcoin or paying for something, right? That's all they need, because to spend from an address, you need a private key, which means that every address used in that transaction is almost certainly yours too. Now they've expanded the list of wallets linked to you, and if those wallets interact with others, well, this web keeps growing. Here's something that most people don't even think about, right? Every time you send crypto, if your wallet holds more than the amount you're sending, it creates a change address. This is a new address, one you also control, that receives the leftover balance. To a regular user, this is invisible, right? But to someone who's tracking you, it's obvious. They just follow where the change goes and boom, they found another one of your wallets. They don't even need some sophisticated tools for this. Just watching where your money moves on the blockchain is more than enough. Now, if you're reusing the same public address over and over, you've basically handed them a shortcut. No detective work needed. They can just watch that single address to track every incoming payment, every outgoing transaction, everything you do financially. And even worse, if you've ever posted that address somewhere public, maybe in a Twitter reply, a forum, or some kind of donation page, it's forever tied to your identity. And once they match those two things, your real world identity and your financial activity, you are exposed. At this point, they know how much crypto you have, where you store it, and how often you transact. Now it's time to weaponize that information. Maybe they'll hit you with a phishing scam, an email that looks exactly like one from an exchange that they know you use, perhaps one that's warning about suspicious activity. Now, since they already know your transaction history, they can make it very, very real. Or maybe they impersonate one of your contacts, someone you regularly send crypto to, and ask you to, say, send funds to a new wallet. Since they've already mapped out who they interact with, and you can see that, it won't feel very suspicious at all. And then there's the worst case scenario. If they see you've got a lot of money sitting in that crypto account, they might take it offline. Home invasions targeting crypto holders are a very real thing. There have been cases where criminals kidnapped people, forced them to unlock their wallets and stole everything, and all of this from one public address. One of the most chilling examples of how public crypto exposure can turn deadly happened in March of 2025, not that long ago, right? Popular Twitch streamer, Caitlin, I think it's pronounced Amouranth, she was the victim of a violent home invasion where 3 armed assailants broke into her Houston residence. They demand access to her cryptocurrency holdings. The attackers knew exactly what they were looking for because Amouranth had previously posted a screenshot of her Bitcoin and Ethereum balances online. This showcased over $20 million in crypto. The public nature of her holdings made made her an obvious target. And with blockchain transparency, attackers could have verified her wealth. They could have tracked her transactions and planned their attack at the most perfect moment, when her balance was, say, the highest or when she might be the most vulnerable. It's not an isolated incident either. In January of 2025, David Balland, the co-founder of Ledger, was actually kidnapped along with his wife from their home in central France. Also, in October of 2024, 6 individuals from Florida were arrested following the kidnapping and assault of a couple in Danbury, Connecticut. The perpetrators targeted their victims due to their substantial cryptocurrency investments, attempting to coerce them into transferring their digital assets. It's really simple. Giving anyone verifiable access to your income and holdings is a bad idea and could put you in real-world danger. Unlike a bank account where balances are private, blockchain wallets are public, they're traceable, and they're permanent. While blockchain's transparency can of course pose these personal security risks, it also serves as a powerful tool in combating illicit activities. One notable example is the 2016 Bitfinex hack, where approximately 119,000 Bitcoin was stolen, and through meticulous blockchain analysis, authorities traced the stolen funds, leading to the 2022 arrests of Ilya Lichtenstein and Heather Morgan. This case really underscores how the public nature of blockchain transactions can aid in tracking and apprehending cybercriminals. Similarly, in 2022, California prosecutor Erin West leveraged blockchain transparency to recover $210,000 that was stolen a pig butchering scam. This is a scheme where fraudsters build long-term relationships to basically defraud their victims. And by tracing the flow of stolen funds in the blockchain, West's team exposed the scam's perpetrators, highlighting the technology's potential in, say, things like fraud detection and asset recovery. These instances demonstrate that while blockchain transparency can be exploited by malicious actors, it equally empowers law enforcement and investigators to do things like trace, expose, and combat fraudulent activities in the end. So now that we've seen how exposing your public address can go very, very wrong, let's talk about what you can actually do to protect yourself. Because while blockchains are transparent by design, there are actually ways to stay private. You just have to be intentional about it. One of the biggest mistakes people make in crypto is using the same crypto address over and over again for convenience. The more you reuse an address, the easier it is for someone to track all of your transactions. Most wallets these days support something called hierarchical deterministic wallets, or HD wallets for short. These automatically generate a new receiving address every single time. This keeps your transaction history fragmented, and it's much harder to sort of link things together. If you're not already doing this, you should definitely start now. If you want to break the direct link between your transactions, you need to use a mixer. Services like CoinJoin, for instance, bundle or bundled, I'm not sure if it still works, people's transactions together. They sort of scramble them, so it's almost impossible to trace where the money actually comes from. There's also something called Wasabi Wallet, or there's also Samurai Wallet. These both offer built-in CoinJoin features, and for Bitcoin, they're definitely one of the best privacy tools available. For Ethereum and other chains, Tornado Cash used to be the go-to, but since it's sanctions, you'll have to actually look at decentralized alternatives. Just make sure they're legit and well-audited before using them. And of course, if you're serious about privacy, Bitcoin and Ethereum might not actually be the best option, sort of the best cryptos to transact in. Privacy coins like Monero and Zcash, these were built for privacy from the ground up. Monero, for example, hides everything. It hides the sender, the receiver, and the amount. And unlike Bitcoin, where anyone can trace your transactions, Monero is completely opaque. Zcash gives you the option of private transactions with something called shielded addresses. Now, these can hide your transaction details while still keeping the network secure. If you really don't want your financial history on display, privacy coins are definitely the way to go. Now, if you're doing peer-to-peer or P2P crypto trades, whether it's selling Bitcoin for cash or sending funds without some kind of centralized entity, right, you need to be careful. For starters, don't use your main wallet. Create a burner wallet that you only use for P2P trades. This way, even if someone gets that wallet address, it won't link back to your main holdings. Also, consider timing your withdrawals. If you're moving funds around, don't do it in obvious patterns. Make it unpredictable so you don't create some kind of easy to follow trail. So here's the big question. Now that you know how much someone can uncover from a single public address, are you still comfortable handing yours out? Crypto, of course, was built to give you control over your money. But naturally, with that control comes with responsibility. If you're not careful, your entire financial life is out there for anyone to analyze, track, and if they're malicious, exploit. The good news, you're not powerless. We've walked through the risks, but we've also covered some of the tools and techniques that you can use to protect yourself. For instance, use fresh addresses all the time, mix transactions, explore privacy coins, and most of all, be mindful of what you share. If you found this video useful, hit like, subscribe, and let us know what you thought about it in the comments. What's your go-to strategy for keeping your crypto transactions private? This is Bradley Peak for Symbiosis, and we'll see you next time.